everyone, it is Dani'i and welcome to this update video this morning. I hope you're doing well, and we're going to be talking about what is happening across the North Atlantic. There's that front which is currently still bringing some impacts to portions of the Caribbean, and we can see that system out there. You can see some rotation with it, but it has formed. It's an airflow pressure which has formed from the tail end of the front. There's the rest of it up there. I believe there's also a trough within the area, so a lot of instability supporting those thunderstorms that we're seeing. And also to the south and southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, we can see some convection there as well. That's in association with the intertropical convergence zone, which is where the trade winds of the north and the south meet. But of course, our focus is going to be on the Caribbean. So let's zoom into the region, and here we can see this front still seeing some activity across portions of Hispaniola, especially over toward the Dominican Republic. So there's likely to be some additional rainfall, even some periods of heavy downpours today. So there's already been some heavy rain across some areas, and more of that is going to be possible. And then for other islands such as Jamaica, going toward portions of the Bahamas, and even for Cuba as well, the front has passed. Most of this activity has passed, but there could still be some showers here and there, even some heavy downpours. That's still going to be possible. And also the windy conditions, cooler windy conditions are expected today. Looking over into Central America, not seeing whether there's anything too crazy, but the temperature has certainly decreased. We're going to be looking at the anomaly map very shortly. ABC Islands, nothing much happening right now. Similar story for Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and through much of the Lesser Antilles. But for some islands, of course, there's some activity coming in, some moisture moving in from the east, so that may induce some rainfall. And that has been the case for parts of southern St. Lucia, going to St. Vincent, the Grenadines, even for Grenada as well. Now, as it relates to the rainfall forecast for today, this is from the Euro model, of course, and we can see that there are some shades of these purples and even these pinks across portions of Hispaniola, especially down in parts of Haiti, sections of the Tiburon Peninsula. So in those areas, there could be some additional heavy rainfall, and there has already been some heavy rainfall across the island. And even for the vicinity of the Turks and Caicos Islands, also seeing that it's kind of more colorful there. So there may be some substantial rainfall today. Also, as we head down into parts of the Southwest Caribbean, going along the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica and even Panama, it also gets pretty colorful there. So there may also be some showers moving through. And of course, that stream of moisture coming in from the Atlantic, which is impacting portions of the Southeast Islands. Now, for Northern South America, Colombia remains quite active. Also for portions of Venezuela, and even headed toward Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. So there could be some areas which experience some heavy downpours, but it may not be too widespread. Elsewhere across the Caribbean, little to no rainfall activity. But for some of us, the temperature has decreased. So here we're looking at the wind forecast. This is for later today, and we're seeing that it's going to be very windy across much of the Western Caribbean, even up to Florida. We can see some of those darker shades of purples. So we're seeing a lot of that in the Western Caribbean, even some blue shadings as well, up to 25 knots or so at maximum, and that is likely to impact San Andres and Providencia. We're seeing those two islands there right within the midst of those blue shadings. And then for other areas, it's likely to be around 20 knots or so, maybe a little bit more or less than that through today. And these winds are coming from the north in the Western Caribbean. So these are northerly winds which have set in with the passage of that front. So along the Caribbean coast of Central America, for portions of Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, even for Cuba, it's going to be quite windy later today, even across parts of the southern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. As the front continues to make its way by, things may be tranquil in terms of the winds for Hispaniola, and even to the ABC Islands, maybe around 10 or 15 knots at the most today. Same story for the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, and across much of the Lesser Antilles down through Trinidad and Tobago. So these winds, especially across the Western Caribbean, quite chilly. And here we're looking at the anomaly map from the GFS model in the latest updates, and we are seeing some of these shades of blues which indicate below normal temperatures. They have set in across portions of the southeast states, even headed towards Central America, Cuba, and even parts of Jamaica. For some of us, it's quite cool this morning, especially in those areas which are actually overcast. In those more elevated areas, it's going to be a lot cooler. For example, looking in Central America, In portions of Mexico and even Guatemala and even parts of Honduras as well, we can even see some hints of some purple shadings there, which is indicating that temperatures may be as low as around 8 or 10 degrees Celsius below what is typical. Think about that. So this is a relief map actually showing that those areas are more elevated. So those hillier areas are definitely going to be feeling that difference in temperature, and especially in the nights as well, with these winds from the north, these northerly winds. So that is what is going on, guys. But with these northerly winds comes those choppier seas. So seas up to around 10 feet at the most are across portions of the Western Caribbean. So we're seeing that these northerly winds, of course, they're helping to influence the temperature as well as those wave heights. Please stay safe, guys. And if you're being impacted by all that heavy rain as well across parts of Hispaniola, even in the vicinity of the Turks and Caicos Islands, please do not take any unnecessary risks should there be any flooding. And I'll keep you guys posted on what is happening as per usual. So that is it for right now, and I hope you found this video to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I can, and remember to always be weatherwise.